Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Hornstein, a student at Yeshivat Maharat, and welcome to day 3 of Maharat's 10 Days of Torah. On Purim, we dress in costumes. Actually, we dress in costumes every day. We tailor our dress to the situations we find ourselves in: work, play, shul, school. How do people in Megillat Esther use clothing? Clothing is very visible on a person. It signals a lot of things like status, power, emotions such as mourning. When a play is staged, the wardrobe tells you things about the characters. Megillat Esther reads very much like a play, and the wardrobe changes are worth looking at. Also, it's good to look at who's doing the wardrobe changes. Are people dressing themselves, or are they being dressed by others? This can signal where the power lies in the relationship. First, let's consider the crown. The crown comes up 3 times in the story. First, Achashverosh orders that Queen Vashti appear at his party wearing the royal crown. His purpose in asking her to appear is to display her beauty. It's really for his benefit. As queen, she's entitled to wear the crown, but it seems to be a sign of her relationship to him, the king. Of course, Vashti refuses to appear under these circumstances and pays with her life. Shortly thereafter, when Esther is selected queen in Vashti's place, the king places the royal crown on her, again seeming to signal her relationship with him. Finally, in the episode where Haman recommends a royal getup as a sign of honor, which we'll get back to, Haman lists the royal crown in his recommendation, but the king doesn't include it in the order. Apparently, placing the crown on Mordechai would have been a step too far, perhaps signifying a relationship that didn't exist. Now, let's consider Esthers Clothes. Before she is chosen as queen, she and all the other candidates are primped and preened. We might have expected to hear about special clothing during the preparation for her meeting the king, but we don't. All we hear about is Achashverosh placing the crown on her when he selects her as queen. Esther's only listed wardrobe changes before she approaches the king uninvited. She dons royal garb for her daring appearance in the king's inner courtyard. Even dressed in such an elevated way, she still addresses the king as if she were a subject. If it pleased the king, if I found favor in his eyes. When Achashverosh invites her in, he refers to her as Esther HaMalka. It almost seems like he recognizes her as queen because of her clothing. Her royal garb may have made her feel a bit more powerful, and it signaled her position to the king himself. Mordechai is the one who changes clothes more times than anyone else. After Haman's decree is publicized, Mordechai dons sackcloth, a personal sign of mourning, but one that also signals all of the people around him to the plight of the Jews. Esther is scandalized when she hears about this and sends regular clothes for him to change into. He refuses to change, and his persistence in wearing the clothes of mourning seems to have its intended effect. Esther agrees to approach the king and to beg for herself and the Jewish people. A little later, as the tide turns in the Jews' favor, Haman has to dress Mordechai in royal garb, minus the crown. Mordechai himself does not have royal power yet, but power looks good on him, and the act of Haman's dressing him signals the beginning of Haman's downfall. Later, after Haman's hanging, Mordechai is promoted to a high rank and dresses himself in royal garb. Now he's really powerful. Esther is the one who has conferred some of that power to him, but her garments are never mentioned again. And we notice that every time she addresses the king, she still does so in the same submissive tone as she did early in the story. She gets her way, but almost always by means of the men. The fact that we dress in costumes in our own Purim celebration suggests that we are aware of these clothing dynamics. I hope that this year, as we read Megillat Esther, we can be aware of the shifting power dynamics that accompany the wardrobe changes as well.